Hello, 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 and welcome to the 6 steps to stand out as a highly sought after coach. Don't say that too fast. It's like a tongue twister. But, anyways, I am so excited that you guys are here. Before we dive into all the goodness, I want to just kind of go over some of the important things that I think you should know. I have so much to share with you in the next hour, and I want to make sure to honor your time. So, what I'm going to ask is if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat box, and either myself or a member of my team will be sure to answer those. Also, second thing is I know the internet can be wonky, whether on my end or your end. So if for whatever reason you can't hear me, can't see me, or my screen is frozen, do not leave me. I promise to set aside this hour to dedicate this time. If you log out, come back. If something happens to me, I'll come back. But I am here for the next hour to be able to dive deep into this information with you. And I'm so excited for what I'm getting ready to bring because I have been working so hard behind the scenes. And it's been so fun because I'm literally going to bring the things that people do not talk about and the things that I wish I knew early on in my business and even really later on in my business to be able to make an impact. So I'm so excited. Let's go ahead and dive in. Also, one more thing. As I promised, I have a special bonus for you at the end if you stay with me. Not only will you get access to my Get Your Next Client Now bundle, you're also going to learn how you can get a 30-minute call with me totally free. So make sure you set aside this time and stay until the end. And trust me, it will be so worth it. And your future self is going to be so grateful that you did. So let's dive in. I want you to take a moment and I want you to consider, does this sound like you? You have a big vision for your business, right? You desire to make a difference in the lives of your clients. You're an aspiring or an established coach, but you're really wanting to up level. And you know that you're called to so much more. If you feel like that sounds like you, I just want to tell you, first and foremost, that you are in the right place. I do also want to be transparent and honest that this training is not for anyone who desires to remain stuck, right? Kind of with the status quo. They're comfortable with the status quo, comfortable not making any changes, comfortable making excuses, or you don't really want to know about what next steps you can take to really support your business growth. That is who the training is not for. And so here's the thing, there's going to be a lot of information shared. And if for whatever reason you feel like you match any of these, I would not at all be offended if you logged off, because I do believe that time is our most valuable resource. And so we want to make sure that we're using our time appropriately. But if you still feel like you need to stay here, I want to make a promise to you, okay? When we are done with this, you're going to walk away with a clear picture of what building a profitable coaching business truly entails. You'll have the practical strategies so that you can get started today. You're also going to learn ways to avoid things that are making it hard to accomplish your goal. And then finally, I also promise to be honest about the process because I know that a lot of times people will get on different trainings and things like that. And when people get on like different trainings, they will get information that I feel like is kind of sugar coated. And that's not what I'm about. If you've been with me for any amount of time, you're going to quickly see that I'm all about honesty. I'm all about transparency and all the things. All right. That's why you can type in the chat box and either myself or a member of my team will definitely answer your questions because I do feel like your time is valuable. And I also want to make sure that I'm being honest. In return, I need a promise from you. I'm going to ask that you clear any distractions that you have. The truth is, when we try to multitask, I know we as women like to multitask, but when you multitask, you actually teach your brain to underperform. And that's the last thing you want. And actually, research says that you end up operating almost at like a 7-year-old level when you try to multitask. And I want you to really be able to take this information and I want you to really be able to apply it. And that's going to call you to really fully be present. Okay. So I'm going to ask that you really dedicate this hour to yourself, that you keep an open mind, because there's going to be some things that maybe you've heard before. There's going to be some things that may feel a little bit uncomfortable to try. But in the end, like these are things that I know work. Okay. Like I have done this with myself. I've done this with my clients. And so that's why I want to bring it to you. I also am going to challenge you to use this information that you get and maximize it moving forward. It serves no one for you to attend this training and like check it off your to-do list and be like, all right, Dr. Nicole, yeah, I did what you said, but then not like actually applied it. That serves no one. Okay. So I'm going to challenge you to really show up for your goals after this training. And then also save your questions until the end because I want to make sure that you do not miss a thing. As I said earlier, we have a full packed hour here. So I want to make sure to be able to dive in. So I know some people have been with me for some time. I know some of you are new to me. So I'm going to do a very brief overview of who I am, just so that you're like, who is this lady giving me this information? And does she actually know what she's talking about? So, first and foremost, I am an unapologetic believer. I'm a girl mom. So I have two daughters. I am a master life and success coach. I have a couple other things that I'm certified in: neurolinguistic programming, emotional freedom, tapping, human design. But I lean a lot into my master life and success coaching. And we'll talk a little bit about your mindset and neurolinguistic programming today. I'm also a 10 times bestselling author. I am an avid reader. Last year, I read 58 books. I genuinely love reading. I love learning. And I feel like the more I learn, the more I can actually give back. And then I'm an Office fanatic. Like on my spare time, I like to watch The Office. It's just something mindless and funny. So a little bit about me. Here's some like pictures behind the scenes. So that's like me working with one of my clients. Love, love, love the work that I do. I just feel like I'm so blessed to be able to do it. That's me and my daughters eating sweets because I have a serious sweet tooth. It's dangerous. And then that's a picture of me in all of my books. And that's probably one of my most recent ones. So a little bit about me and how I got to where I was. 2 years ago, I was going through a divorce and just really trying to find myself. I got with my ex-husband and when I turned 20. And so my whole life revolved around being a wife and being a mom. And I didn't really know myself outside of that. And so I was dealing with feeling overwhelmed. I was done with the monotony of like waking up, doing the same things, living for the weekend. I felt extremely unfulfilled. I had done everything I was told to do: go to college, get married, have 2.5 kids, a white picket fence, and a dog, and a house, and work until you're 60. Like, I did the quote unquote American dream, but realized like that wasn't fulfilling for me. And I got to a point where I started to question if this was all that life had to offer. And so, what I decided to do is, at the time, I was in a small group for single moms, and I decided to support the women at my table with different productivity hacks. They all wanted to know, like, how I was balancing all the things. I was working on my doctorate, raising my two children, working a full time job, and working a part time job. And they were all like, how are you balancing all these things? Like, how do you have time for this? So at the time, I decided I was going to write a small little ebook and then give this to the women. Well, the more I got into this ebook, the more I was like, man, if I'm going to put my blood, sweat, and tears figuratively into this thing, I feel like more people would probably want it. So I decided to go ahead and publish it. um, love the publishing process. And from there, I decided to take what I would call a big leap of faith, where I decided, like, man, I felt so fulfilled when I was writing. I felt so fulfilled when I was giving people the support. I felt so fulfilled when I was having these speaking engagements. I felt so fulfilled when I was working with people one on one. And so I leaned in to starting my own business. Now, I'm going to be really honest. I used all of these things. I used systems, I used strategies, I used coaches, I used hard work, I use discipline, I use programs and masterminds and trainings and hoping and wishing and all of the things. But to be really honest, my mind wasn't aligned. And so, therefore, it's like I kept throwing spaghetti at the wall and I was making absolutely no progress in my business. But I vowed to myself, the moment I figured out how to get to where I was and where I am now, that I would never, ever, ever leave another unwilling or another willing woman stuck. So today, that's what I'm doing. I'm pulling back the curtains to help you increase your income and your impact as a coach using my foolproof formula that I've not only used with myself, but I've used with multiple of my clients to make massive shifts and changes and to really be able to step into their next level. So, the first step in the process, and I hope that you guys are able to pull out your workbook and kind of take notes because there's going to be a lot to this. But the first step is to align your mind. What I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to play a quick 10-second game with me. Okay. If there were no rules, no regulations, no ifs, no ands, no buts, what would you ask for in your business if you knew that the answer would be yes? Take a moment. All right, we'll say about 10 seconds is up. I don't have a timer, but I'm just going to do a little estimate. So here's the thing: what came up for you right then and there is exactly what you want in your business. Now, if I had given you 30 seconds or a minute or 2 minutes or 5 minutes, you would have started to rationalize it. Well, maybe I can't have that many clients. Well, maybe I'm asking for too much. Well, maybe I'm thinking too much. And the reason is we like to play small because it's what we're familiar with. It's what we're comfortable with. It's what feels relatable. But what I know to be true is what is desired by you is destined for you, but only if you're willing to, one, believe it, and to align with it. So let me explain something to you. This is a little neurolinguistic programming model. I actually certify and coach on this and love teaching this because we're not taught this growing up. So when we're in school, like K through 12, when we're growing up, when we're learning, we are taught to operate from our conscious mind. We are taught how to use our conscious mind. But your subconscious mind is where real and lasting transformation and change takes place. And even if you look at this, over 95% of our actions, our behaviors, and all of that is taking place in our subconscious mind. Like right now, I'm talking to you, but I'm not stopping to say breathe or blink. It's because my subconscious mind is doing all of that. And what happens is we have our conscious mind where we see things, where we consciously process things. And then we have that analytical mind, or it's also known as the critical faculty, or also known as the BS meter, meaning that when we're trying to state things that we want to believe, your mind will try to tell you it's wrong. So when you're like, man, I want a six-figure business, that BS meter or the analytical mind will try to stop you from really implanting that into your subconscious mind. And therefore, it makes it difficult because what I know is if you can't move beyond your mind, you're not going to get anywhere. And so this is why a lot of times when we say affirmations or when we set goals, we can't ever get beyond writing the goal or saying the affirmation. It's hard to believe it because that critical faculty or that analytical mind is blocking us from really being able to embed that, to really be able to embody that. But don't worry, I'm going to explain a little bit about how you can start to do this, okay? So this is another model from neurolinguistic programming, but basically we take in information all day. We take in information all day through our eyes, through our ears, through our touch, through our smell, through our taste, through everything, like through all of our senses, we're taking in information. And when we take in this information, we either delete it, distort it, or generalize it based on our experiences. Okay. So this is why when, I don't know, if you're in a relationship and you think all relationships are bad because you're comparing it to your mom's relationship or your friend's relationship or so-and-so's relationship, now you've generalized that all relationships are bad. So every time you've taken anything from any relationship, you've generalized it. But the cool thing is at any given point, you get to change the way you interpret that. And we'll talk about the steps in a moment and some things that you can do. But basically the way the mind works is we bring in information, we either delete it, meaning we're like, yeah, it's not important, I don't need it. We distort it and we make it kind of match what makes sense for us. Or we generalize it, making it make sense based on another experience. Then we create an internal representation, which is like a picture, which determines our state, like our state of being, our physiology, which determines our behavior, which determines our results. So if you bring in information, let's say that you're on Instagram and you bring in information and you see a coach that just had a six-figure launch. And now you're like, man, I really want to believe a six-figure launch is available for me, but I've never had a six-figure launch. My last launch really like reeked. Now you've created this picture that launches suck. Now your state is like you're slouched over, you're kind of frustrated. Your physiology is matching that. Your behavior then represents that. You have kind of this bitter tone, this frustrated tone. And then what do your results reflect? Your results reflect that. But it doesn't have to be that way. At any given point, you get to shift that. And I know that it can sound really cliche, but literally, if you shift your mind, you can shift your life. Okay, guys, I have seen it firsthand. So some of the processes, and this should be in your workbook as well, but some of the things that you can do is you can notice what negative thoughts crop up throughout the day as you're working. One thing that I'm really passionate about is making sure you're working in a good energetic space. And so one thing that I have done is I've started this thing on my calendar where I ask myself, am I creating from a place of joy or am I creating from a place of stress? And if I'm in that moment creating from a place of stress, I'll pull back and I'll try to get myself very grounded because everything is energy, and the energy you create and the beliefs you have around what you're creating is going to manifest in your results. So if you're creating slides for an upcoming masterclass and you have negative energy and you're mad and you're like, no one's going to show, guess what you're going to manifest. And so you got to pay attention to your negative thoughts. More importantly, start writing them down. Don't judge yourself for those thoughts. Write them down and start asking yourself, okay, where did this limiting belief come from? Why do I have this limiting belief? Am I willing to see this differently? This is called a gentle observer concept. And this is a big concept in the personal development space where we become a gentle observer through our experiences. We don't have to judge what we're feeling. We don't have to judge what we're going through, but we get to just observe it and learn from our experiences, okay? And then when you ask yourself, am I willing to see this differently? Ask yourself, if so, what's a tiny bit better feeling that I could put in its place? I'm not saying that's like, oh, no one will ever come to my masterclass, and then going from, oh, I'm going to sell out my masterclass. That may feel extreme for you, but maybe it's like, you know what? The people that I'm meant to impact will show up, or my voice is powerful. You're just giving yourself a tiny bit better feeling that you could replace in its place. And what you're doing is you're slowly kind of breaking down that critical faculty. That's that BS meter. That's like, no, that can't ever happen. When you give yourself that tiny bit better feeling, you kind of break it down. Okay. Then ask yourself, what belief would counter this negative thought? Like what do I need to believe to overcome or to combat this negative thought or belief? And then write that new thought down as an affirmation. Okay. When this thought pops up, repeat the affirmation or the mantra in its place. The thing is, we have somewhere, and I don't remember the exact number, but I know it's somewhere around like 50 or 60,000 thoughts a day. And over 90% of them are negative. Over 95% of them are repetitive. And so we're on this constant hamster cycle of negative thoughts going pretty much nowhere quick, which is no fun. So we have to learn to reprogram our thoughts to be able to align with our success if we want to create our success, if we want to make it inevitable. All right. That is the first foundational step and literally one of the most important steps, because you could have all the systems, strategies, and supports in the world, but if your mindset isn't aligned, none of that's going to matter. The next thing is you're going to want to create a clear vision. Like if you, I don't know, if you tell like a loved one of yours, and you're like, let's say your spouse or a friend or somebody, and you're like, I want you to go pick me out a very pretty dress. Go find a dress. You don't give them a size, you don't give them a color, you don't give them a design, you don't give them anything. When they come back, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to be disappointed. There's going to be, the size will be off, the color won't be your color, the style won't be your style, because you're not being clear. And it's the same thing with our goals. We're like, oh, I want to be successful, but what does that look like? And so what I want to talk about is the difference between goals versus intentions. So goals are an outcome you have set for yourself. Intentions is the state of being throughout the goal setting process. So when you think about your vision, when you think about your goal, when you think about the things you want to do with your business, what is your goal and how will you be able to hold positive intentions throughout that goal setting time? That's going to be very imperative to answer and to consider the difference between. I also in your workbook put some information about purpose, vision, and mission. When I was really establishing my business, one of the things that I was working on was understanding the purpose, the reason behind my business, and the why it existed. Because there were some days that it was hard to get up. There were some days that it was hard to show up, right? But my purpose woke me up every day. My purpose gave me that drive. That vision is that big thing that you're looking for in your future, that you're moving towards, that you're being drawn towards. And one thing that I know about the subconscious mind is it's so powerful. Whatever the subconscious mind holds is what it's actually going to be drawn towards. And so you want to make sure that you're holding tight to that vision so that you're moving towards it. And then your mission. Your mission is your means of achieving your vision. How is your mission to serve a certain number of people? Is your mission to serve a certain type of people? Really understanding this, because many people confuse the purpose of their vision and the purpose and their vision and their mission. And it's important to really have that clear vision when you're setting that foundation for a profitable and impactful business. Step number 3 is to show up and cultivate certainty. Okay. So here's the thing, many people will do one of two things. They will either show up and they're kind of like insecure about if they should show up or how they should show up. And then there's other people who just won't show up at all, right? They play small because it's kind of scary. You're not sure what people are going to think. You deal with a lot of fear, things like that. But for me, what I know is that showing up is the greatest way you can get in front of people that need to hear from you the most, the people that need to connect with you. And here's something that's really, really important. In the coaching space, there's a concept called the know, like, and trust factor. And before people want to move forward and to take that next step with you, they want to know you, they want to like you, and they want to be able to trust you. Okay. And in order to do that, what I have found is that telling stories and showing up and cultivating that confidence and cultivating that certainty draws people in, because what you're actually doing is you're making sense of what you're experiencing and you're connecting with them on a deeper level. And when you're able to really connect with them on that deeper level, it actually makes the people that are following you, that are drawn to you, feel closer to you. And as someone begins to feel closer to you, they actually release a brain chemical called oxytocin, which is actually the love and trust hormone. Okay. So this is why showing up is so important. And let's talk about a couple different ways that you can do this effectively. So looking for interview opportunities is huge, because when you look for interview opportunities, you're getting yourself in front of a new and expansive audience. Embrace your expertise. When you show up with that confidence and with that certainty, people are naturally going to be drawn to you. And here's something that I think is really, really important. You do not have to have some fancy degree or certification to be an expert. Expertise is actually gained through experience. So maybe it's something you've experienced. Maybe it's something you've helped other people with. Really embracing that expertise and showing up as the expert that you are called to be is going to naturally draw and magnetize people to you. Having professional designs behind you. Is your online platform professional? Do you have headshots? Do you have lifestyle shots? Do you have an updated website? Really showing up as the expert that you're called to be is going to help you stand out. Also, finding a way to market your business every day, which we'll talk about in one of the steps, the importance of selling and how to sell from the soul. Look for opportunities to tell your story. Stories, again, make you relatable. People, like, you could be, let's say you're an anxiety coach, you help people heal from anxiety. There's going to be a million anxiety coaches, but there's going to be a reason people are drawn to you. And this is why it's important that you tell your story and you show up who you are, because that's what's going to make you unique. That's what's going to make you stand out. That's what's going to make people magnetized and drawn to you. Okay. Also, remember when we talk about your mission, right? That mission is how you're going to get to that vision. Understanding that what you focus on expands. So for me, when I started my business, literally all I focused on was impact and connection. How can I connect with somebody today? And how can I impact somebody today? And this allowed me to really prioritize that impact and that connection, which then allowed me to really expand my income, because that wasn't my primary focus. It was literally impact. That was something that meant so much to me. Step number 4 is creating aligned offers. Okay. So aligned offers allow you to create from flow, never from force. They magnetize and draw your audience in where they're like, I can't even help it, but I want to be in her energy, or I want to work with her. I want to take this next step with her. And aligned offers allow you to expand your income and your impact. Okay. So when you're thinking of aligned offers, some things to really reflect on, and these questions are in your workbook as well, is what is your audience seeking? Like, is there maybe posts that you have made that they're like really drawn to? Let's say that you're a single mom coach and you post about like productivity or time hacks, and people are really drawn to that. Now you know your audience is seeking ways to balance their time. If I don't know, if you're a health or fitness coach, maybe you know that your audience is really drawn to information about like healthy eating or the keto diet or something like that. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to do more of that, because you know your audience is seeking that. But also understanding that you want to think of ways that you truly like to work with your clients. I think that I know there's a lot of like coaches and gurus online that tell you that you have to do one-on-one, or you have to do group coaching, or you have to do masterminds, or you have to do it this way. But what I found is you got to do what feels aligned for you, because if you do what somebody else is telling you have to do, you're always going to go in with that exhausted energy, and that's not going to be impactful for your audience, because the energy you start with is the energy you're going to carry. Okay. If there were no rules around what it looks like to work with clients, how would you show up for them, right? There are no rules. That's the secret. That's the secret thing here, right? So maybe I know one of the very first coaches I worked with, I remember when I was working with her, she worked with me every single day. And her coach at the time was telling her, you shouldn't be working with your client every single day. But like, she really liked it. It really worked for me. And it was like, it helped. So understanding like, what does that look like for you? What does an aligned offer look like for you? She doesn't do that anymore, but at the time that worked for her and her business model at the time. Also consider what type of coaching offer would make you excited to wake up each day. Would it be one-on-one? Would it be group coaching? Would it be passive courses? Like, what would it be? What would inspire you to be like, yes, this is it. Like, this is the answer I'm looking for. And then also consider what delivery method naturally suits your personality, right? But still making sure that you're offering your value to your client. For me, I like to have different offers to meet my clients where they're at. So really understanding what suits well for you, but also is meeting your client where they're at, okay? The truth is, you need to feel confident about the type of offer and the pricing in order to sell it. All right. So, a big piece of creating aligned offers is pricing appropriately. And this is such like a touchy point. I actually just did a reel on this on Instagram because so many people were like, oh, I hate talking about pricing and I don't know how to price. And when we are in our 9 to 5, you know how much you're worth based on the hourly salary they pay you. But when you move into entrepreneurship, you get to kind of choose your prices. And so for me, what I always tell my clients is you want to find that middle ground, right? And I say it's the price between resentment and ridiculousness. So where is that middle ground? A middle ground meaning that it's not so ridiculous that people are like, oh, no, I would never, ever buy that. And it's not so low that you end up being resentful of offering it at that price. So as you're thinking of your aligned offer, you're thinking of the client you're calling in, you're thinking of what it is they're looking for from you. You're thinking about how you can offer this, what type of, like, is it group coaching? Is it a mastermind? Is it a one-on-one? Is it a whatever certification? Is it whatever? You're thinking of how you would offer it. And then you price according to that middle ground between resentment and between ridiculousness. And here's a little secret. You are not married to the price. So if you ever get to the point where you're like, you know, this price doesn't feel good for anymore, you get to make changes. And that's the great thing about it, is that it's all an adjustment and a learning game. And the more confident you feel, the more you'll start to notice, man, I'm really bringing value to people. And you begin to price according to that as well. Step number 5 is to unleash content that attracts soulmate clients. All right. So, really understanding who your dream client is going to be so important. You cannot say, I want to work with women. That's great, but there's lots of different women. Do the women have kids? Are they CEOs? Are they corporate? Are they stay at home moms? Are they divorced? Are they married? Are they business owners? Are they 9 to 5ers? Like, who is your dream client? Really understanding who your dream client is and getting crystal clear on that. Okay. And as you're really thinking of creating that content, and this is when I say creating content, I mean, like, how are you showing up online? How are you drawing your clients and that sort of thing? You're going to want to use what I call my sweet spot chart. Okay. So, to find your sweet spot, you really want to think about what you're passionate about. You want to think about your experience and your expertise. And then you want to think about your client's needs or pain points. And then where do those 3 spots overlap to help you find your sweet spot? So, yeah, let's use an example again. Let's say you're the anxiety coach, helping people heal from anxiety, and you're really passionate about mental health awareness. Like that, like lights you up. And your experience is that you struggled with anxiety and you healed through anxiety through different techniques and modalities. And you're like, man, I am about to bring this to them. But then the needs and the pain points of your audience is like, they really want to heal from anxiety. The anxiety has become debilitating. It has become overwhelming. They don't feel like they can function effectively. So your sweet spot becomes that you create a one-on-one coaching program where you help people heal from anxiety using emotional freedom tapping or whatever it is, right? It's just an example, but understanding your passion mixed with your experience or expertise. And sorry, I spelled expertise wrong. Just notice that. And then your needs or your pain, their needs or their pain points is super, super important to weave all of that. Because you could be really passionate about hiking boots and you could be, an expert hiker. But like if your clients aren't trying to learn how to hike or learn how to buy hiking boots from you on the low, that's not going to matter. So you really have to be able to find that sweet spot, merging all 3 of those together. And then from there, you get to create from the heart. Okay. Understand your audience and speak to them. So, what is it that your audience wants? How can you show up and speak in a way that really resonates and draws them in? For me, I know sharing stories really relates because sometimes people will see things on Instagram and I feel like people put their highlight reels or the great things about their life and then they feel kind of unrelatable. But when you share stories about where you were or why you're passionate about what you do, it really brings your audience, it brings the attention to you and really helps your audience lean in and trust you. Highlighting your expertise, like what makes you the person that can actually be able to do this? Like, why are you qualified or called to do this? Get creative with how you're showing up online and then repurpose content. So research says that it takes 7 times, upwards of 7 times for your audience to be exposed to your information before they begin to really like embody it or embed it and like really ingrain it in their mind. And so I think a lot of times we feel like we have to kind of recreate the wheel every single time we show up, but I am queen of repurposing. I will do a reel, I will do a story, I will do a post and a YouTube video and a podcast all on the same subject. Now, each of them will have a different length or a different part to the post, but it's literally me repurposing content. So one, I'm meeting my audience where they're at because I'm using kind of different mediums and platforms. But two, I'm allowing those who just kind of follow me on all to continuously be exposed to that information over and over and over again so that they can start to practice it and they can start to get those wins along the way. Along with that, it's super, super important that when you're online, you're showing up strategically. The first thing is be consistent. I remember one of the very first coaches I was like drawn to that I wanted to work with. I told her I wanted to think about it. And I think I took like a week and I didn't hear from her. I wrote her online and she literally fell off the face of the earth for like 3 months. And then she reached out to me after 3 months and she's like, hey, do you still want to work with me? And I'm like, no, I've hired somebody. But she literally fell off. She stopped posting. She didn't respond to my message. That is so unprofessional. Make sure you are being consistent and showing up strategically. When you're posting, blend your posts, give information, but from a different angles. Give a business post or an educational post or an inspirational or entertaining post, a sales post, a story post. Don't just get on there and feel like all you can do is just give, oh, buy, or do. And weave some things in there. Like I made a post the other day before I was getting my hair done. And I was talking about like, man, I clean up nice. Like I know sometimes I get on my stories and don't, look the most amazing, but if I have good information to share with you guys, I'm going to get on here anyway. And people love that post because it's literally me being vulnerable, me being behind the scenes. I shared the picture of me and my daughters eating the donuts. And I talked about my sweet tooth and how I'm working to overcome it. So I'm showing like my lifestyle behind this because you are your brand, right? You're part of your brand and people want to see who you are in addition to what it is that you have to offer. They don't just want to see your highlight reels. They don't just want to see what you have to offer, but they really want to see you. So for me, I'll blend all of these. Sometimes I'm doing a sales post. Sometimes I'm just doing a story where I'm just talking and sharing information. And people love that because they're in my energy and I'm just being myself. And half the time I'm like outside running and I'm sweaty and gross looking, but people always engage. Sometimes I'm doing like a funny post, like something really funny about like a joke I heard on The Office or something random, but I'm weaving all of these things together so that I'm showing up strategically to let my audience see who I really am. The next step is sell from your soul. And this may be one of my favorite steps because I think that there is such a negative connotation around selling. When you think of selling, take a moment and consider like what comes to mind. I know for me, the first thing that would come to my mind was Matilda's dad from the movie Matilda. He was like super salesy and sleazy, and he's like rolling back the miles on the car and just gross. And so when it came to like selling in business, I dealt with like a lot of guilt. I dealt with a lot of like frustration. I dealt with a lot of like fear around selling, but here's what I know. If you went to a super yummy new restaurant or you watched a super dope Netflix documentary, you would tell everyone and their mom about it. You'd like call your mom, you call your auntie, you call your sister, you're calling everybody because you're so excited to tell them about it. That's selling. We sell every day and don't even realize it. So in order to effectively sell, what you want to do is you want to determine what you're going to sell and the why behind it, okay? Understanding that your selling is of service. Okay. You know that what you have to offer is valuable. So first determine what it is you're selling. Is it a one-on-one? Is it a group coaching program? Is it a course, right? And why is this what you're selling? You're selling it because you know that you can help people heal from anxiety, or you know the power of emotional freedom tapping, or you know that you can help single moms be more productive, or you know you can help people heal after divorce, or whatever it may be. You know that what you have to offer is valuable. And when you have that strong why behind it, it makes you want to show up more because you're really passionate about being able to support people. So how do you sell? One, shift your perspective of selling. So reframe those beliefs that you have that selling is salesy or selling is sleazy or selling is bad. Understanding that you're doing a service and it actually serves no one for you to play small. It serves no one for you to hide behind what it is that you're offering, okay? Overcome that fear associated with it. So for me, what I started to do is I started to always sell so that it didn't feel weird when I sold, So there's a lot of fear of selling. And so instead of like getting on stage and being like, hey, buy this from me, I started to just casually sell. Like, hey, I have an amazing opportunity with one spot open. Let me know if you're interested. And so I did what I call more casual selling. And that helped me to overcome my fear, because what I was doing is I was slowly but surely selling in a more soft manner. And I am a big advocate about letting my clients make informed decisions. I do not want anyone to work with me out of fear. I do not want anyone to work with me because they feel pressured or because they feel forced. I want my clients to make an informed decision. And so I always say, if you join my program or you work with me because you feel like you have to, that's the same energy you're going to show, and you're not going to get the same impact that you would get if you were excited or if you knew that this could make a difference, right? And so I'm very honest about that so that my clients are making informed decisions, because I think that that is so important. Okay. So let's talk about it. So you shift your perspective. How do you shift your perspective with selling? What do you believe about selling now? Asking yourself that, reflecting on that, considering that. What do you need to believe about selling to actually give it a try? Right? What is it? You need to believe that selling is good. You need to believe that selling is beneficial. You need to believe that selling is of value, whatever it may be. What have you successfully sold in the past? Consider that, right? Have you told your mom about a Netflix series and now she's watching it? What have you successfully sold in the past? Maybe a book that you read and you told somebody and left a good review. The next step is to overcome fear. So why is your work needed? Why do people need this? Why do they need to take that next step? How does it help other people? And these are just reflective questions to kind of get your brain going, to help you really reframe the selling, to help you overcome that fear. What does that then lead to them doing in their lives, or how does this change their life, right? By you selling this, how is their life going to change? Imagine your ideal client. What would their life look like a year from now if they never found your work? How about 3 years or 5 years? And then always be selling. This is a casual way to sell. Talk about your offers, give value, showcase your expertise. There's been times where I just shared things and people were like, man, you really know what you're talking about. Do you ever coach on this or teach on that? And sometimes I'm not even offering anything, but I'll talk about something that I know. And then they're like, wow, how do I learn more about that? Show your behind the scenes. A lot of times when I'm creating things, I'll show pictures of me creating things, and that'll build that excitement. Share testimonials of things that you've done for people that have been of value. I know for me, my very first testimonial was my aunt. This is when I was helping people with like organization and productivity. And my aunt, I went over her house and like did a session with her, and she was my first client. She gave me a testimonial. She actually paid me, and that was the first person on my website. And I shared the heck out of that testimonial because it was real. Like, it was real. I really helped her. And I remember she must have called me 3 or 4 times, just so grateful. Share testimonials, because people that are on the fence and they're like, I kind of want to work with her, I'm not sure, that can give them that extra push, because they'll see what you've done for somebody else, and they'll see that it's also available for them too. Making sure you're monitoring and taking care of your energy, because remember, how you show up is how people are going to receive you. So you want to be in the greatest energetic state. And then get in front of a new audience as much as possible. Like we talked about, get in front of a new audience. Get on podcast features, guest blog, do a live with somebody else, go on Clubhouse with somebody else. This is expanding your reach, okay? It gets new eyes on what it is that you have to offer. All right. On to step number 7. And I know that I said that there were only 6 steps, but when I was creating these slides, when I was creating this content, I was like, you know what? This is such an important piece that we don't talk about enough. In the coaching space, a lot of times we are constantly trying to match what other people are doing. So this coach has a podcast. Now you feel like you got to have a podcast. This coach is doing a reel a certain way, looking a certain way, or having this shirt on, taking this type of lifestyle photos, and we feel like we have to match. But the worst thing you can do is try to blend in when you're meant to stand out. So my piece of advice for this is to embrace your authenticity. Your authenticity is your greatest asset, because guess what? Nobody else can be you, and that means that's what's going to make you stand out. In order to embrace your authenticity, you want to first embrace it, meaning understand the value that your authentic version of you has. Embody it, show up fully in that authentic version. That's going to just really showcase that confidence and that clarity that's going to magnetize people to you. and leverage it, meaning use it. I can't tell you how many times people have been on discovery calls or sales calls with me, and they're like, man, you have the same energy on here that you have on your live or on your YouTube video. And that's because I don't have to pretend to be something I'm not. But when you pretend to be something you're not, you end up exhausting yourself before you ever begin. And that's not fair to anyone, not your audience and not to yourself. Okay. So really understand that your authenticity is your greatest asset. And I'm going to challenge you to embrace, embody, and leverage it. And that is going to change the game for you in business. All right. So, one thing that I like to ask myself all the time, consistently, is how can you get beneficially uncomfortable in the direction of your success? And the reason that I ask this is because the big misunderstanding we have is that when we're uncomfortable, we often feel like that's a telltale sign that we're doing something wrong. And then we throw in that proverbial towel before we even begin. But being uncomfortable is actually a sign that you're moving beyond your comfort zone and into that place of creating that success that you desire and deserve. So I ask myself this question every single day. What can I do to get beneficially uncomfortable today? Sometimes that's going live. Sometimes that's reaching out to a client that I forgot to follow up with. Sometimes it's doing speaking engagements. And I used to have the biggest fear of stages, right? But doing things that get me uncomfortable, but also move the needle towards my success are always things that I'm going to be grateful for. And so I'm challenging you to consider that very thing today. What can you do based on this information that you got to be beneficially uncomfortable, but in that direction of your success? What you likely were feeling when you came with me today, when you joined me, right? You were likely feeling overwhelmed with all of the information overload online. You were probably struggling with where to get started or how to get started. Maybe you were discouraged because everything you've tried feels like it's not working. You're throwing spaghetti at the wall and nothing seems to be working. But here's the thing, you've learned so much today. And when you know better, you do better. And the great news is now you have a choice to do something different, to do something that your future self will be so thankful for. The truth is, I could talk about coaching in my sleep. You could throw me on stage without the preparation, without like letting me know that I need to present, and I could talk about coaching. There are parts, tons of parts of building a profitable and impactful coaching business. And I could talk for the next year and probably still not be done, right? And I'm so passionate to teach you each step along the journey. But unfortunately, there's no way to share every single thing that I know in 60 minutes. But my desire is to lock arms with you to help you increase both your income and your impact as a highly sought after coach. And this is why I'm so excited. I wish I had like a drum roll to introduce the Coach to Clients Academy. Oh, I'm so excited. All right. The Coach to Clients Academy is my signature program, 12-week program that literally is going to overhaul your success in your business. All right. So, first, we begin with the foundational pieces, mindset overhaul. We talk about how to align your mind with success. We talk about understanding how to energetically get behind your price and feeling worthy of it. We talk about discovering what limiting beliefs you have adopted as your reality and how they hold you back, and how to create a plan for how to tackle those limiting beliefs in the future. You'll learn the strategies that you need to raise your deserve level. Then, productivity power. We talk about learning to master your schedule, setting up your systems to have your business running like a smooth oil machine, identifying revenue generating activities, and learning how to delegate what's not revenue generating activity. We talk about time blocking, how to get more done in less time. And then we also talk about identifying what habits, behaviors, and things like that are going to give you that energy you need so that you're always showing up truly as yourself, but in that great energetic state that you're drawing and magnetizing people to you. And then we have intentional alignment, right? We talk about solidifying your client avatar, gaining a deep understanding of what your audience truly needs from you, understanding and embracing your ability to support your ideal client on a deep, deep, deep level, determining what type of coach you're going to be, and determining the concepts and the content that you're going to teach and give back. After we do those foundational steps, we move into the main points, the main pillars of really building a profitable and impactful business. So we talk about formulating your signature offer, right? Uncovering your client's journey, understanding that journey, right? Finding your sweet spot, considering your product tiers to meet your audience exactly where they're at, building out a profitable product suite, embodying your brand so that you can show up as a highly sought after coach and be that highly sought after coach, and creating a waitlist strategy to build that excitement and that momentum. And that way you're not launching to crickets. And then we talk about creating killer content, right? Learning to create outstanding opt ins. A and B are split testing your opt ins, learning how to batch your content, learning how to repurpose your content so you're not always recreating the wheel, aligning your passion with your audience's needs to bring authentic content to the collective or the world, creating a comprehensive funnel, and then learning how to host discovery calls, right? I talk about those dynamic discovery calls. You get a script and then you get that practice so that you feel so empowered and so confident to have those sales or those discovery calls. Then soulful sales, right? We talk about leveraging your launch, really understanding the launch process and the stages of your launch, learning to pre-sell, learning how to launch with ease, learning to post-launch and the best strategy around that, strategies for overcoming your objections when you're on different calls or when you're talking to people about sales, learning how to launch from flow, not force, creating a sustainable launching plan for more launches moving forward. So you build out a launching plan that works for you and your energy, developing a strategy to overcome any fear you have or limiting beliefs you have around selling, and then learning how to really sell from the soul in a way that feels good for you. The thing is, many coaches operate from force, right? Many of us show up and we lack a lot of self-belief and confidence. So therefore, we're scared to invest our time to really create the things we want to create. We're scared to invest our money to really get the support we need to get. We think mindset is a hoax, so we overlook the mindset piece. I know me, I'm raising my hand. I was guilty of that for a while. We often are scared to sell. So we'll create amazing things, but then we won't tell anyone about it. We just play small or we hide behind the scenes. And then a lot of coaches show up and they focus and prioritize income. What I want to show you how to do is lean into that feminine side and move from flow, meaning you're leaning into your intuition. You're recognizing that you're your greatest asset and you're willing to invest in yourself and willing to invest in your next level because you know the return on that is going to be tenfold, right? You work on your mindset daily and prioritize that because you recognize that energy is everything and you want to take care of yourself so that you can show up as the greatest version of yourself. You know how to sell from the soul and understand that selling is a service, it's a way to give back. And then you focus on impact because remember what I said, when you focus on impact, the income will come for sure. And that's what I'm teaching you how to do in the Coach to Clients Academy. All right. I'm literally teaching you how to go from coach to clients, not coach to crickets. Because how many of us have launched businesses and then no one's taking that next step? And we're feeling defeated, we're feeling unfulfilled, we're feeling overwhelmed, and we're ready to just give it all up, right? I don't want that from you. I want you to be able to launch to clients that are ready to take that next step, that can't wait to take that next step. Overall, you're literally going to learn how to realign your mind to match the success you desire. You're going to learn how to remove beliefs that do not serve you. You're going to learn how to solidify your dream client. You're going to learn the skills you need to magnetize them to you easily and effortlessly. You're going to formulate a standout offer that people can't help but to take the next step with. You're going to create content your audience cannot resist. You'll learn how to sell from the soul in a way that feels so good and feels so aligned. You'll learn how to increase your reach and your impact. You'll learn how to scale and grow and expand your income. And you're going to learn how to move from flow and not from that desperation or force. Now, typically, this program is $2,222. I already know that that feels like, oh my goodness. And it really is a great deal, but don't worry, because you're here with me live. I told you I had something amazing for you, and I am a woman of my word, right? So I have some amazing offers. Stick with me here, all right? This course is worth well over $7,000, well over that. And typically, like I stated, it goes for over $2,000, but today you're going to get over 50% off, which I know I'm losing my mind. And in addition to that, I have some amazing bonuses waiting for you. So let's review the bonuses super quick. Bonus number one, you actually get to decide between bonus one or two if you're one of the first three people that sign up. You can get a one-on-one intensive consultation with me, or you can get a bonus 2-day Voxer access, meaning unlimited access to me for 2 straight days. Okay. Bonus number three is for everyone who joins today by midnight. Okay. This is the 3-day abundance bundle. you will learn how to be available to receive abundance and how to create a capacity to hold and maintain and understand you're worthy of it. This abundance bundle is life-changing in of itself, okay? Now, the program, as I promised, super special deal, is only $997 today. And with that, you'll get lifetime access to the Coach to Clients Academy. You're going to get monthly Q&A calls with hot seat coaching. And then you're going to get the online accountability and support group, okay? This I do have a payment plan option, and there is an extra one on the page, bit.ly/coach to clients. And the one payment option is 3 payments of $397. You'll get lifetime access to the program. You're going to get the monthly Q&A calls with hot seat coaching, and you're going to get online accountability and support group. Okay. That's just the payment plan option. And I just want to offer that because I know that some of you are going to be ready to take that next step. And I don't want you to have any reason not to be able to. And then the next one is the VIP Gold, where you can get lifetime access to the Coach to Clients Academy, also the monthly Q&A calls. Also, you're going to get the online accountability and support group, and you're going to get 3 one-on-one calls and unlimited boxer support, okay? Again, check this out right here, bit.ly/coach to clients, bit.ly/coach to clients. The truth is, you're here for a reason. You know that you're called to so much more, and you want the tools to be able to make it happen. You want the support and the strategy and the formula that you know is going to work. And here's the thing, guys, everything that I shared with you today, it's not just some theory or some random thing that I think might work. This stuff works. It's a proven system that will not only change your life, but change your clients' lives as well. And I want to show you some of what my clients are saying, because it's one thing for me to say it, but I really want you to see the benefits and the blessings my clients have had by saying yes to this, okay? So this is Siobhan, and Siobhan says Siobhan is a stepmom coach, and she said she had plenty of ideas for her business, but had no clue where to begin. Siobhan went through the Coaches Strategy Academy, which was the original name, and signed 3 one-on-one clients and created her first webinar, and now has a stepmom membership that is flourishing. And I actually changed the name of my program to Coach to Clients Academy because of the number of clients my coaches were getting through coming through this program. So it's been so beautiful to witness. And Siobhan is killing it. She even has an awesome podcast that's been I think ranked number 10 in our market, which is amazing. And then we have Brittany. So Brittany is a natural hair care coach. She is not a hairdresser. She teaches people that self-love and that embodiment and just loving yourself and embracing every piece of yourself. And this is what Brittany has to say about that, right? I did it. I got my first paid client and 2 discovery calls still scheduled. I can't believe this is really happening. And I think I saw it happening for everyone else, and now it's happening for me. Thank you, Dr. Nicolia. You're a godsend. It's been amazing because Brittany was working on her business for quite some time and just felt blocked. And then working with me through the Coach to Clients Academy has been able to make massive, massive shifts. So there's a couple different testimonials that I have from people. And the reason that I'm sharing this is because I want you to know that this stuff works. If this works for them, this is available and can work for you. Okay. So I have one client who said, her name is Charlotte, and she said, Nicolia's course really helped me to get clear on my offer. After going through her course, I learned how to speak the same language as my ideal customers would and have a clear path moving forward for promoting my course once I'm ready to launch. I have loving the course so far, lots of tears, definitely feel when the student is ready, the teacher appears. I have so many clients that have tried all the things and then come to me and they're like, oh, I didn't put this puzzle together, right? And we really just pull it all together. And I want you to know that this is available for you. I want you to see that your vision is available. And like I said earlier, what's desired by you is destined for you, okay? So you've been a jewel. I'm telling you, I've even incorporated working out and reading daily. I make my little schedule and it helps me enter my day with purpose. I'm walking in your teaching now. So this is actually a client of mine, Marina, who just recently started and is literally embodying a lot of these daily practices that I'm teaching. And she was just telling me the other day, how she feels like a whole new woman because of it. So again, these are just some ideas. I have another client. I love the fact that it doesn't matter the program that I've purchased. It doesn't matter that the program that I've purchased is over. I still can look at my email and find you checking in, and you're still providing information and encouragement. It's rare that people comment to you for this long. or such a short stunt. Seeing these emails keeps me pressing, keeps me writing, despite the challenges my life may bring. Thank you for being you. Simply put, I'm a person that's really passionate about helping you see your vision through. So I'm not one of those people that's going to like leave you hanging. You're not just going to get some program. You're going to get the support. You're going to get the community. You're going to get the tools to really be able to build a profitable business. And even this client over here, I'll kind of sum up what she said, but she just basically said she hadn't originally signed up to work with me, and I just kept showing up. And then finally she decided to move forward and just thanked me for my ongoing support, because I am really about showing up for my clients and really being able to provide a deep level of support. Then I have 2 testimonials left that I'll share with you as well. So I have Alex Williams, not of relation to me, but Alex said, I did a one-on-one business growth session with Dr. Nicolia. Her vast knowledge of developing and scaling a business was impressive, her commitment to excellence. Since our session, I've dedicated more time to planning out posts, using the resources she's provided to help tailor my content to the people I'm working to reach. Right after I posted one TikTok, I have 5 leads within 10 minutes. So this was literally after our very first call. Alex had 3 calls with me. And since then, Alex has built out a program on investing in stocks, actually had a speaking engagement, and has a group membership. Nikki Crocker wrote, I have been trying to get my coaching business off the ground for the last 3 years. Within 1 week of working with Dr. Nicolia, I had my first high ticket paid client. More importantly, I had so much clarity around what to charge and feeling worthy of it. I was also 100% secure in the promise I was providing. This was by far the best investment I have ever made. Nikki is out here just killing the game. It's so freaking amazing to watch and to witness. And here's the thing, what I've learned from these clients and what I'm here to share with you is it's all about taking action. It's about taking action now. It's one thing to say that you want to reach something, is totally different to show up for it. So let's talk about why you need this program now. Putting your dreams on the back burner is causing you to feel unfulfilled. You know you're called to so much more. You're tired of trying to figure out everything alone. Plus, I'm going to be honest, these fast action bonuses make this price a steal. Oh my goodness. So what are you waiting for? Let's get started. bit.ly/coach to clients. The time is ticking, right? And remember, there's payment plans available. So go to that page, bit.ly/coach to clients, to get access to it. No excuses. This is your time. All right. If you feel called, listen to me. This is your call to stop playing small. So again, bit.ly/coach to clients. If you have any questions, type it in the chat box, and either myself or a member of my team will be with you shortly to ensure that we can answer those questions. Again, go to bit.ly/coach to clients, and I look forward to being able to see you there. As promised, I have one final thing, and that is the freebie that I promised you. You can go to NicoliaWilliams.com/next-client, NicoliaWilliams.com/next-client. And you'll get that free bonus that I promised you, because I very much so honor and value the time that you've committed and spent with me today. There's a lot of other ways you can spend your time, but you showing up is a big deal. And I just want to honor that. Lastly, one final thing before you go. Let's make sure that we stay connected. If we're not already connected, you can find me across the board, Instagram, Facebook, all the things at Nicolia Williams. So come find me. I would love to connect with you beyond here. And I'm really looking forward at being able to support you at going from coach to clients, no longer coach to crickets. So again, use that link below, bit.ly/coach to clients, and I will see you there. Have an amazing, amazing day.